You're listening to the Nerd to Know Media Network. Join us at nerdtoknowmedia.com.
Broadcasting from the Blanchistan Center, this is Phoenix FM.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together to bitch about movies and share facts.
According to the Nerd Index, you should be upside down in a junior high toilet around the clock.
This is We'll do it live! Time goes in, time goes out. Never miscommunication.
It's over 9,000! My name is Foxy.
The balls are in there. Do a barrel roll. Don't save me, bro. It's a trap. I'm a firing memory. Time to do. Hey, Charlie, wake up. Oh, God, oh, man.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Nerd to Know Basis Show, airing on Phoenix 92.5 FM and all those wonderful places like Spotify on the internet. I am Cian, and with me today are, in alphabetical order, please.
Sarah.
And Mannequin Blue.
Woo! Excellent.
Woo.
Welcome back, Mannequin Blue, from your extended stay. Did you have a nice Christmas, yeah?
It was okay. It was
Excellent.
That's about as specific as I'd like to be.
3-word reviews. We're very much on brand with last week's episode. Fantastic. Now, as promised last week, we're going to cover, slightly late, we're going to cover the 2022 movie, TV highs and lows. But literally seconds before we recorded, Dara revealed to us that he is a famous hater on the internet, acknowledged by certified authors. So, can you give us your 2-minute or less version of this story, Dara, please?
I mean, isn't that my gimmick anyway, that I hate everything?
It is, but it's, to do it is one thing. To be famous for it is another.
Well, I wouldn't say famous, but yeah, okay. So so Jimmy Kimmel, the talk show host in America, has a segment called Mean Tweets, where they go through Twitter and find mean tweets about the person.
Yeah, it's one of those like snapped for YouTube type segments.
Yeah,
and on talk shows.
Yeah, and this is on YouTube. It's somewhere I can't find it, but it is there. And I was randomly tagged in it by someone who was like, "Do you know you're on Jimmy Kimmel?" I'm like, "No." Yeah, it was like 7 or 8 years ago now at this point, but I'm not. This is not a joke. This is a real.
I know,
thing.
that's why it's funny.
So what happened was, and again, I'm trying to like not get us in trouble. Everything I'm saying is real. This all happened. So I apologize in advance. I was dating a girl a couple of years ago who was really into, the nerve fighters. Is that what they're called? I don't know. The Hank Green person. They wrote those terrible books. The
You mean
kid
Hank Green?
I don't know. They wrote the terrible books, like two kids.
Like Fault in Our Stars.
That's the one. Yeah.
Paper Towns. Yes, I've
dying,
sold a fair few of them. Yeah.
They're like dying or something, and then they like
that's Fault in Our Stars.
I don't know. Trash anyway, right? But she was a big fan of it, right? And I was like, all right, whatever, I'll go. And it was like a book launch, so I had a signed copy of it and I burned it. And I was just kind of like, yeah, whatever. So I went along.
So
anyway.
wait, why did you burn it though? Like, give us the context.
Oh no, I didn't burn. I just like threw it into a fire because didn't want it.
Okay, fairly dramatic, but sure, keep going.
No, it's better with fire than it is as like a source of fuel than as reading material. Anyway, that's my review. Don't read that book. Don't give them money. Anyway, so what happened was we went to this thing anyway, right? And I was like, all right, and I didn't care because I was just like, whatever. But she had like they got to meet them and they signed things. And I'll always be courteous to people who are signing things because it's nice to be nice. And I literally had no attachment to this. I wouldn't have been quote unquote mean unless I had a reason to. So yeah, the book might be garbage and the writing might be terrible and their show is really annoying and all that. But that's all fine. People can do what they want.
Can I just interrupt here? Is this an Andor situation? Did you read the book?
I would not read that trashy for real.
Yep, on
but-
brand. Right, keep going.
But anyway, right, that all might be fine. None of this was the problem, right? Well, the problem became when they started meeting their fans, right? And one of them wanted to shake the hand,
Right.
and he wouldn't do it, right? And I'm like, oh, that's kind of, you know, that just rubbed me the wrong way because I'm like, listen, you're only here because these people bought your terrible book. You should probably go and, you know, take the picture and shake the hands and all that kind of stuff. So, and these are like kids that were like, you know, from like 16 all the way up to 20. I think it was like what, 24 at the time or something like that. So, you know, they were all like, you know, as they would be. And it just kind of shook, you know, hit me the wrong way, you know?
Yeah.
And then I did some more research on the shows, and for ages afterwards, every time I went on YouTube, it was just recommending their really lame YouTube channel. And apparently their YouTube channel is a big deal. But I'm like, wow, these guys are, you know, the word I want to use, I'm not sure I'm allowed to use. D-bags. So that's the
On
phrase.
at 5. We're
Yeah,
on at 5.
I know, that's why I didn't say it. So that's the
Quick,
phrase.
sing a song. Get it struck for copyright.
Get struck for copyright. So that's the phrase that, you know, that was going through my head, right? And then, you know, I tweeted out at some point in the heat of passion. I was like, wow, I can't remember offhand, but it was something like, wow, these guys are incredibly annoying. If I have to look at either one of these, that word that I just used, one more time, and his annoying brother, I think I'm going to puke. You should be able to meet. You should shake your fans' hands. Anyway, something like that. I'm paraphrasing myself. So that was the tweet, and it ended up on Jimmy Kimmel.
Really, including the shaking hands bit.
Yeah.
And what did he say?
Oh, nothing. They're you know, they just played it off as a thing.
Okay.
But
all right, because I mean, not to detract from your fame, but like, you know, it's I kind of wouldn't think anything of it myself. Like one or two of the DCC people don't want to do that, and like,
no,
you don't know what people like are kind of.
No, that's after COVID. I mean, now fair enough. I could understand it, but you know, I mean, like this was them just being, you know, it just the whole thing was quite. The whole thing was quite. It left a very bad taste on it. Now, again, I have no attachment to these people. I have no, you know, I'm not part of the fandom, let's say. But I'm like, wow, you're only like in my personal opinion, I'm like, you know, if you're a musician or you might not owe them it, you know, and I know it can get a bit hazy with certain things, but I'm also like, when it's something that niche, it's like, hey, your fans come out, go and like be appreciative that they're there because you're literally only here because of them, you know.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? Like you say,
it is a tricky one.
There isn't an entitlement on the fans' part, but if it's an event in which the obvious selling point is for your fans to meet you, I feel like there's a kind of an unspoken contract.
That's how I'd see it too.
The interactions are valuable, you know?
Yeah, that's how I'd see it too. I mean, obviously you're not like, you know, there's a whole Reddit thread of like uncomfortable wrestlers with like
even the most normie person here have seen that. Yes.
Yeah. And it's just like, I mean, yeah, like there is that side of it too. But you know, for this specific thing, because of what it was, like again, I probably shouldn't have even been there. Because this was for, you know, I took a ticket probably from someone who was like would have been screaming and crying, you know.
Yeah, you weren't the target demographic. Like you weren't coming to this uncritically, like.
No, but I think that's why it annoyed me so much, because I'm like, how are you not like appreciative of this? You know? And then I saw the terrible movie and I'm like, what is this? You know? So yeah,
wait a minute. You had this experience and you're like, oh, I bet this is rubbish. Can't wait to see the film.
No, the movie was on and I was like, let's watch this trash. And I wasn't disappointed. I was like, this movie is the worst thing I've ever seen. You know? So, and I've seen some terrible films because I like terrible films, but it's like they're dying. Okay. I don't want to see this.
Yeah, but there's a lot of films where there are a lot of films where people are dying and they're good, you know?
Yeah, but this wasn't one of them. This was like they're dying and sad. It's like, you know, no, this isn't fun. So I think I didn't watch The Room after. That was more fun. Not the horrible one, the fun one.
The bad one.
No, I just watched a bad movie.
No, but like the bad room or the good room, as it were.
Oh yeah. No, the bad one. The
Well,
actual bad one.
and hang on now, because the bad room is good, and the good room is also very upsetting.
Yeah. Okay. How about this? Not the
Yes.
upsetting one.
Okay.
But the upsetting one gets points because my dad played on the soundtrack.
Oh, that's fair.
And
That's cool.
And that's my claim to fame.
Nice.
That's cool. That's cool. But the thing about it is like if anyone's listening right now and it's a big, what did he call them? Nerf herders? Nerf fighters?
In
Nerf
Star
fighters.
Wars.
No, I think there's
I mean, in Star Trekkers.
yeah, no, there's some kind of name that they have. I don't know. Listen, here's the thing, right? We're gonna sit down. Kids, listen. If you're a fan of these people, don't be. Move on.
And
There you go.
please stay tuned for our DCC coverage. Where we brag about meeting Michelle Gomez in March or whatever.
No, I mean they're fine. Like I don't know why these like they do stupid little like YouTube videos where it's like, hey, I'm gonna tell you about Roman history. I'm like, listen, you don't know.
You are
dick about Roman history.
tangenting.
No, they
way
do.
off
They
course.
do. This is the thing. For months, I got like I got stupid video recommendations of these people, and I was like, "Oh, you're such, you know what, bags."
I'm
Like,
sorry, you've
so
gone
good.
into total old man yells at cloud mode.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm
Right,
sorry.
kids.
What's the Hank Green people on YouTube talking about Rome connection?
They do a video about it, and it's all wrong. And you have such a smug attitude, and you're like, "Oh my god, talk to your fans." You know, so annoying. Anyway,
You know what's going to happen now? You're going to get a fan and you're going to let them down
no,
at the next Comic-Con.
I never do that. I never do that.
Let people listening, it could be you.
It could be you.
Contact us now.
Oh my god! You know, here's
All
the
right.
thing. If I ever write a book, right, and it ever gets like popular enough to do
Yeah.
that, and you're not like a proper like, you're not a, I don't know. I just look. I've met lots of authors, right, and I met lots of like, actors and that kind of stuff, and none of them have been like that. I went over to England to see Santa's Veil. The singer not only knew who I was because I like tweeted about it, he purposely went over and hung out for a while. I was like, holy hell, that's unreal.
Yeah, I mean, I will second you on that, which is
I was like, I couldn't believe that he even knew who I was or thing, but he's like, yeah, didn't you come all the way from Ireland? I'm like, yeah, and he goes, oh, that was so rad. You know, I mean, that's the way it's supposed to be, not just do not touch me, peasant. It's like, what is your deal? Your book is terrible. You have no right to be here.
Yeah, no, and that's what I was gonna say, which is like I talked about it last week a bit with Prim meeting one of the Doctor Who's, Sylvester McCoy. Like when you go to get an autograph or sign thing or something like that, you're not really paying for the autograph or
No,
whatever.
you don't care about
You're
that,
going
really.
for the experience of meeting them and hopefully getting a story or something meaningful or something like that. And the and you know what? They're people. Sometimes they're just not chatty, and that's fine. You've got no expectations of that. But the odd time when they're really nice and they really surprise you in the best way possible, it stays with you.
Don't
You know,
just-
like Marina Sirtis from Star Trek gave us baby advice. John Delancey, also from Star Trek, came over in the break and chatted with me and my mates about his holidays and stuff and asked us questions and stuff. Like Sylvester McCoy blew raspberries with my 3-year-old. The odd time, or like the RoboCop guy, I'm afraid his name is falling out of my head, but he like actually kind of came over and chatted to us because Prim's middle name is named after him, you know, and gave us a free photo and stuff, you know, like those little touches.
Peter
that
Weller.
make you
Peter
feel
Weller,
really validated for meeting them and all that kind of stuff. They stick with you, and
You
I'm
see-
sure the reverse also sticks as well, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have cared either way. I would have been like, okay, this was a waste of a day. But it was more the fact that like these people were really like obsessed with them.
Hmm.
It was like, wow, if they're that obsessed with it, the least. And I mean, they knew, like, obviously they gave their little speech and they were like, buy my book, and they're like, they already bought your book. You don't need to sell it again. But it's more just kind of like, you know, they were aware that it only happened because of them, and at the same time, they're like, well, you know. I don't know. It was very weird. It was a very weird thing to see, you know. And the fact that nobody else was sitting there, and my girlfriend at the time was like, oh yeah, that's what they're like. I'm like, wow.
Oh,
No.
like kind of like, oh yeah, well that's celebrities, like that kind of way, like
Yeah, I was just like, oh, okay.
yeah. But
Like,
by
Yeah.
that, not to credit like or to contradict the person who you're talking about who I've never met. I'm sure they're lovely. But like if that's your attitude, like why are you there? You know?
yeah, that's exactly where it was, and then it just kind of rubbed me more the wrong way in that way, and then those videos started, and I was just like, oh, I hate
Yeah.
this. So I mean, here's the thing: if I never, on the one hand, yeah, it's funny I was on Jimmy Kimmel, but it's also like, I can't believe these guys, you know, swindled everybody into, buying their book. And
Well, it's not swindling. Like if they enjoyed it, that's fine.
did you
You
see how
know?
bad that movie was?
No, I didn't see the film, but like I think of Twilight and like how overblown the hatred was for it in retrospect. It
Oh
was
no,
like
Twilight
no,
is bad.
well,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm sure it is, but
Like, I
in
read the first
proportion
book.
to the hatred,
Like
it
No, it's
feels a
bad.
bit silly
like
in
Twilight,
retrospect.
like Twilight is so bad that Anna Kendrick has publicly announced it, and she was in it.
She actually forgot she was in it.
Exactly, she forgot she was in it, and then
That
announced
is
it 'cause it
true.
was
The
so
odd time
bad.
I see Twilight on TV, I get surprised when she turns up.
It's weird,
like
isn't it? You're like,
it's like
oh,
an SNL or something where they like edit a celebrity into an existing film. I'm just like, what are you doing there?
yeah. I don't know. All I'm saying is, if you're a fan of this stuff and you've been horribly offended by what we said, I mean, read a different book. We're trying to raise the quality here of nerdom away from.
Also, this is an opinion piece.
Oh, this is a fact, Katie. This
Uh,
is objectively
and
terrible.
Sarah, in the edit, could you also put the word allegedly in about 23 and a half times? It doesn't need to be in the grammatically correct places. If you just sort of have it blaring like a silent alarm or something in the background,
Well,
I'd really
see-
appreciate
Well,
that.
see, this is my experience of what happened, and I mean, the thing about it is, if someone can if someone can find that clip, because I did have it at some point, but it is gone. If someone can find it, I'd really appreciate it because it is actually quite funny. I mean, it's the funniest they've ever been reading my material. So I mean, it says a lot, right?
Great. Now there's two famous people after you. That's
Right.
all we need.
Wait, who's the first one?
What? Hank Green doesn't count.
Oh, he's not famous. He's a flu.
The fame has gone to your head, Dara.
Who's the first
All
person?
this secondhand Jimmy Kimmel fame.
Ah, Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel. Words that have never been said. Anyway, go on. There's my story.
Anyway, from talking about some film you all forgot about from 10 years ago to films you remember or possibly have forgotten about from last year. That's my segue.
I went through
So-
this list and I forgot a lot of these movies even came out.
Well, that is 2021 in a nutshell because, or 2022.
2022.
But see, I've already forgotten it.
You forgot it already.
2022 was a weird one because 2021 was cinematically was only like tentatively open, and we will talk about TV as well. But a lot of TV shows from 2021 were kind of holdovers from other things and all that kind of stuff. 2022, touch wood, was the year where it seemed like things were sort of getting back to normal. So there's a lot of weird films in the mix here. I'll tell you what, though. You say you have a list, Sarah, do you?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a list of films I've seen and films I haven't, and maybe we'll overlap. I'm just going to start with ones that went up on streaming services over Christmas, because I'm fairly sure that more people have seen them than ones they forgot about in March and stuff. Did anyone manage to see Top Gun Maverick?
Yes.
No.
Yes. Did we
No.
review it on this show?
I do not know.
In that case, we're covering it again, because if it's worth seeing twice, it's worth reviewing twice. It is, I will say, it is my 3-year-old daughter's favorite film. We have watched it 12 times, and I went into it with weirdly low expectations because of, even though people I really trusted hyped it up. It's incredible, and I'm not even usually a Tom Cruise film kind of person.
Oh no, here's
Well-
the thing, Keane, right?
Yeah.
Tom Cruise, stuff we can't say on the radio.
Oh, now you're getting worried about stuff we can't say.
No, the difference is I'm going to cut out that entire first segment and have it on the internet only so we don't get kicked off the radio.
That's 15 minutes.
I'm aware, so we're going to have to go 15 minutes over.
Oh, sugar. I've got work in the morning, dude.
I know. That's true. I didn't expect to go on a rant. I should have said, no Fault in Our Stars.
Look. Don't add more. Top Gun.
Top Gun.
Stay on target.
No, here's the thing, though, right? With Tom Cruise, it's like, yeah, look, his personal life, whatever. If he's in a movie, I will go see it.
Okay.
It will be unreal.
I mean, the Mission Impossible films have been getting consistently better.
He does not make bad movies. Legitimately.
Don't go too far.
I know he doesn't. No, he like in
The Mummy.
Yeah.
Okay, right. That's fair. Katie, okay, that's fair.
That didn't have Christopher. Is it? Who's his producer? Is it Christopher McQuarrie? Or I noticed even though he didn't direct.
No, I mean, like, okay,
Top
right.
Gun 2, he was the producer on it from the Mission Impossible things.
Yeah, the Mission Impossible movies, Top Gun, what's it? Oblivion, Live, Die, Repeat. Like these.
I forgot about that one. Yeah,
they're all like really, really solid movies. I think it's just like good action movies that have like a good premise or good producer. He's fine. And look, Top Gun. I randomly I didn't see the first one. I still haven't seen the first one. Right.
Oh, we watched the first one over Christmas. It's very 80s, but it's also very good.
Yeah, I mean, I just love this movie though.
Sorry to people who like 80s films for that, but like you know what I mean.
I mean, it is the quintessential, like the closest I saw to the first movie was Hot Shots. Do you guys remember Hot Shots?
The parody,
parody.
Hot Shots,
yeah, so good. And I mean, yeah, I saw the first one, so I think it's like the same movie. But when I saw this one, I was just like, wow, why is this actually so good? And then it's like, well, Tom Cruise, and it's a well-made movie. So yeah, absolutely, probably one of the movies of the year.
Oh, I think I'm going to make a case for another film in a minute, but like, yeah, I think people have generally agreed this is the film that 2022 will be remembered for. And it's really strange because I know that to some degree there's spoilers that still people don't want to talk about, but it's people like haven't really pinned down what it is they like about it. What specifically? Obviously,
good.
The flight stuff is good.
No, it's just good.
I know, but like. It took me a year to see Mad Max Fury Road, for example, but I already knew, okay, there's a big chase scene. There's this, Tom Hardy barely talks. There's the choreography, so-and-so. But I heard nothing about Top Gear Maverick, even though I saw it at Christmas when it'd been out for like 6 months. There isn't like some sort of central thing that people are latching onto that they like about it. You know what I mean?
But there's just been so much garbage out. Or just like with action movies, that's kind of because I've been thinking about it too, right? And obviously, like, it's always going to be Morbin time, so we're not going to talk about Morbius because best movie ever made.
Put that on the list. Things we're not talking about.
No, but I mean, like, if you look at some of the biggest movies this year, like seriously, they've kind of been terrible. And there's loads of different reasons they've been terrible. Either they're disappointing, there's no real hook, it's like a soulless cash grab. It's, and I mean, you can say that about the 355, which I actually enjoyed, but it's completely forgettable. You probably didn't know it existed. But Uncharted, which was the definition of soulless, I really enjoyed it, but, there was nothing there. Empty popcorn movies where you can watch them go, it was all right, and then never think about it again. I think when it comes to something like Top Gun, it has some kind of soul to it. It's like,
well, it would have to, because it's the sequel to a film from such 30 years ago. It's not a franchise launcher. It's just a sequel.
But it's not even a sequel. I mean, the thing about it is, it's more like a movie they picked up. Actually, you know what it is? I'm gonna break my rule, so I apologize. It's exactly what. Oh God, I'm gonna say it.
It's okay. We're thinking it.
It's exactly what Star Wars should have been. Right? It's exactly what. Yeah, I know.
Where's the stop recording button?
I know. No, but I mean, if you look at the Force, and I'll keep this really short. If you look at the Force Awakens, right? Top Gun Maverick is exactly what people thought the Force Awakens was, and it wasn't. Right? I mean, you could actually build a franchise around Top Gun. I think they actually are.
They probably will, yeah.
Yeah, or be
There's
some kind
too
of
much
show
money involved.
Well, Paramount Plus, I mean, you can totally do it, but it establishes the world. It brings up all the main characters. It has your big character moment. It hands over to the future. Everyone has a happy ending. Blah 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 blah. and then it sets up for future stories. It's the complete opposite of what happened with The Force Awakens, and I think that's probably what it is, because it's not cynical. It's
no, actually, you've just said what I was about to say, which was that I was blown away by how incredibly sincere.
Yeah, I think that's
Top
what you
Gun
like
Maverick
about
is. Like, it really cares about the characters from the first film, even if you haven't seen it, and that does. And it cares about the characters in its film.
Yeah.
Like, you come away really liking everyone.
But that's what's supposed to be. I mean, when you watch The Force Awakens, you're like, oh, everyone's a piece of you know what, and it's terrible. And, you know, and then there's mystery boxes. It's like, it was made by a competent film director. J.J. Abrams isn't. So, I mean...
I wouldn't go that far, but I get what we're not going to segue into
We're not going to segue.
Okay, well, then tell you what. We're in... Katie, I didn't hear. Did you chime in about this yet?
I didn't, because I haven't seen either of them.
Okay.
Okay. Well, you haven't seen
what,
Star Wars. That's impressive.
Well,
but no, I mean, I haven't seen either of the Top Guns.
Okay.
Oh, that's fair.
All right.
Okay, how about this? Katie, what movie from 2022 would you recommend?
You're not going to like my answer.
Go on.
Is it Morbin time?
It's not Morbin time. It's quite strange.
Go on.
No, that's it. Strange.
What?
Wasn't that 2022?
Oh, Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I like
I
Doctor
can see
Strange.
that.
I like Doctor Strange a lot.
A Sam Mendes Marvel horror film. What's not to like? I totally get that.
Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
Sam Raimi.
Yeah. I really like Doctor Strange too.
Yeah. No, I thought it was amazing. Like, everyone else that I know that saw it just hated it so much. But I thought it was just really dumb and fun.
No, I mean, I really didn't. Like, look, my biggest problem with it, all right, I'll be honest with you, and this was confirmed by someone who worked in Marvel. They had the British Museum, they didn't use it. They randomly used it with the Illuminati. That was my biggest problem with it.
Right, we're moving on.
British
British Museum, it's going on my list. Right. Yeah. Okay.
I'm a member now.
I'm going to try and zip through just the things that went up on streaming services over Christmas to get through a bit faster. Glass Onion. Did anyone see the Knives Out sequel?
Yes, it's woeful.
I quite liked it.
I loved the first one. There is a 9-hour documentary about why it's so bad. And I've watched them.
That's such a bloody our generation thing. Oh, I hate this 2-hour film. I'm gonna watch a 9-hour YouTube video about why I don't like this film.
Are you not aware of the 15-hour breakdown of Star Wars? The Phantom Menace?
Nothing would surprise me about Star Wars at this point.
151-hour project to actually break down.
If you told me there was a 15-hour video, I would say that's Star Wars. You don't need to tell me.
No, there is. Mahler, he's unreal.
Okay, well, send me a link. But no one hates Star Wars like Star Wars fans. It's a complete other level.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Like the Doctor Who fans, bad as they can be sometimes. And even though I love Doctor Who, like with the Whittaker era, they are like in the paddling pool compared to the people who hate Star Wars. You know?
Oh, you're not a Star Wars fan unless you hate it. It's the truth.
I know, I'm married to one.
Stevie's the best though. It's so funny.
She's asleep. It's fine. Okay, moving on quickly. No, actually, no. Let's dwell on this. Let's review. So, what did you not like about Glass Onion?
No, it's not. I didn't like it per se. I mean, it's just the first one was so good. Like it was really, really good. It was just that there's just so much stupid stuff that happens in it. Like, I mean, there's some of it in the first one, but I mean, to boil it down, it was like the whole movie didn't need to happen, right? Without getting into spoilers, it's a murder mystery. It's the most obvious murder mystery in the world. And did the
butler do it?
No, the rich millionaire did.
But they're all rich. That's not a spoiler. They're all rich millionaires.
Yeah. It's not. Thank you.
I don't want to get in trouble on that.
No, that's true. That's true. No, thank you for catching me. No, I mean it's like it's the most. Everything you think that's going to happen happens. And the whole conceit behind it didn't need to happen at all.
I wouldn't agree with you there. The Act 2 twist, and people who've seen it will know what I mean.
It's not a twist.
Did catch me off guard.
But it's not a twist when you watch it again.
Well, obviously it's not a twist when you watch it again.
No, I mean, no, hold on.
It's not a twist when you're expecting it.
No. Sorry. I mean, damn it, Keen, you're really on me today.
I
No,
was
I mean,
gentle with you last week because you've been hassled by the Vatican. Today, I'm
that's
treating you like
fair.
you're awake.
That's fair. That's fair. No, I mean, like, it's just when you're watching it again and you see the breadcrumbs, they're not as like, it's not like you know, when you're watching a movie and you're like, oh, you're trying to figure it out, and then we watch the second time, you're like, oh, okay, how did I miss that? It's like when you're watching this the second time, you're like, oh my
No, I
god,
would agree
how
with
did
that.
I miss
But
this?
like, what
How
I
did I
would
miss this, you know?
say to that particular point is that it puts on a great show to, again, not trying to spoil too much. It puts on a great show to basically make you not think of the obvious thing.
Okay,
Which,
that's fair.
as a sequel to Knives Out, is quite a good approach. I can't really say more than that.
Yeah, okay, yeah, leave it at that. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
want to ruin it for anyone because you know, that's the fun of those movies. And the whole genre itself. So, look, fair enough. Like, I will take your point on
Yeah.
that.
If you, however, actually, if you want a more traditional kind of murder whodunit thing, there's a really good one starring Saoirse Ronan called "See How They Run" on
Yeah,
Disney
it's very
Plus.
good. It's
Yeah,
very
you
good,
saw
yeah.
that one, did you?
Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah.
That's because I know that like the Knives Out films can be a bit off-putting because they're so obvious in its humor and that kind of stuff. Like See How They Run is like the very quaint counterpart to it. It's like, for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's a murder mystery that takes place in a stage performance of Agatha Christie's The Mousetrap.
Yeah,
Like
it's
it's
very good.
very genre savvy and it's very kind of funny, and it is set in like the 30s. And it's got a fantastic cast. So
Sam
like,
Rockwell's in it. So,
Sam Rockwell's the co-lead. That's right.
But also, like, what's it? One of the guys from Inside Number 9 is in it as well.
That's right. Reece Shearsmith is in it. So like it's funny because like Knives Out, Glass Onion, they have their star-studded American cast. See How They Run has the like Irish English kind of theater stars with like Adrian Brody kind of thrown in to have a name there, like you know. So it's
Very
really
good.
interesting to see the two compared, you know.
Yeah, no, I genuinely would prefer that one. But before we go too deep into this, I kind of want to twist this a little bit and talk about some weird movies, because I mean, there's the big ones we talk about, but I mean,
yeah, of course. And Katie, by the way, interrupt us because
Absolutely.
like otherwise you're not going to get a word in, I suspect.
No,
I'm okay with it. I'm just chilling. I'm vibing here.
This is audio. They can't see you. If you're not talking, you vanish.
That's totally fine with me.
Okay. All right. I
only
interrupt
Katie
you,
made
Dara.
dance.
Please go on.
Only Katie may dance. Okay, so I have a Cineworld Black Card, right? So I try to get to movies once a week, either before something or after something or whatever, just to use it. So I've been seeing a lot of movies, right? And I have seen a lot of movies this year. And I actually forgot I saw a lot of these movies because I mean, some of them are just forgettable. So ones that are quite weird, that I'd recommend. Uma's really weird. It's a Korean American movie about this basically about this mom who dies and this grandmother who dies, and it's about the relationship between her daughter and her daughter's daughter, and being haunted by this Korean spirit. It's just very spooky and good, but it's not like.
Is it like a horror or is it like a character drama?
It's a thriller. It's a thriller.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a thriller. I'm gonna get to the horrors in a second, but it's a thriller. But it's kind of framed as a horror, but just has a really good spirit to it, you know.
A good spirit.
Oh, yeah, very good. You know, that was quite good. Crimes of the Future, I actually walked out of. It's Cronenberg's new movie, and I walked out of it because it was trash. But some people really liked it, so I mean, fair enough.
What's the name of the film?
Crimes of the Future.
I have not heard of this at all. Okay.
The Watcher, I also walked out of. It's a Bulgarian movie, I believe, but it was incredibly boring, and I was like,
oh, you're a proper like cinema goer then. Fair play.
Yeah. I mean, I'll watch anything, man. That's the thing. Yeah.
We need to have less rants about things on the internet. This needs to be a proper ongoing thing now that we know this.
Fair. The Watcher is not very good, or The Watcher is quite good. Watcher isn't very good, but you know, it was really, really slow.
Okay.
Orphan First Kill is very good though. That's like a sequel that really, no, it's a prequel, but like Orphan, it has a really good twist to it, but you already know what's coming, but it has the even deeper twist to it, which makes the first movie even better. So absolutely do watch the Orphan series. Men is bizarre.
I remember we covered that. Yes.
Yeah, that is a bizarre. That's on Amazon Prime at the moment. If you haven't seen Men,
I'm gonna watch that then.
The last 20 minutes are gonna warp you for life, Kane. I apologize because
That's
it is
fine. If the film's
bizarre.
good enough, I don't mind.
Smile is very good too. If you
Oh
haven't seen
yeah, I heard
Smile,
surprisingly. I think I heard surprisingly good reviews about that one because it
yeah,
looks like a sort of a trashy, like sort of get your money and run type horror movie. You know?
no, it's actually not. It's the complete opposite. It's actually very, very good. The Invitation is very good until it isn't. Very heavy-handed with its messaging, but it is very good as well. Pray for the Devil is absolute garbage, but I love it because I love exorcism movies.
X is also very bad.
X is very bad. Yeah, X is very bad. That was next on my list.
The film's
Yeah.
just called
Katie,
X.
It's
yeah,
just called X.
why did you think it was bad?
It was just. It was like I didn't watch all of it. I actually walked out of it, but it was like, it was bad acting. It was like, here's Jenna Ortega for no reason.
I was about to say, I'm
And
looking
it was
this up. Jenna Ortega's in it.
Yeah, but it was basically just porn.
It was, yeah. Well, that was the plot. It was they were shooting a porn movie.
Yeah,
Mm.
but like there was a lot of them actually shooting the porn movie.
Yeah, a lot of it was actually. That's a very good point. But Jenna Ortega, it's been a weird year for her because obviously she's blown up now in Wednesday, but she was also in Scream, which was very good.
She was also in The Babysitter too, which was terrible.
I've not seen the bit, and she was also in the MCU as well. She's in Iron Man 3.
Was she?
Yeah, she plays the president's crippled daughter, I think.
Oh, that's right. It's like it was the vice president who wanted like the extremists to work. Oh my God, what a blast from the past.
But no, Scream 5, was it? Yeah, Scream 5 or 6. No, Scream 5. Yeah, Scream 5 is very good. Obviously, Jenna Ortega was in it before she kind of like blew up. Surprisingly good movie, to be fair. But Scream 4 is actually wonderful too. If you guys haven't watched that, like that movie ages like fine wine. The third one ages like milk. But yeah, it's very good. Hold on. What's the next movie here? Hold on.
Well, I'll tell you what, while you're looking up your list, there's one more streaming one, and we should be ashamed for not bringing it up quicker, which is The Banshee of Inisherin. Have either of you watched this yet?
I saw that in a movie.
Yeah, I have seen it, yeah.
Okay, well, Katie, you're tagged in. What were your thoughts on it?
How can I say this nicely? I didn't hate it, so don't take this as me hating it. It was a movie that happened, and I saw it, and that's pretty much it. You know, it's not a bad movie, but it's not a great movie either.
Okay, I stumbled across some context for this because you know Colm, obviously Katie, which was a friend of mine who works kind of in the theaters and that kind of stuff. He was telling me that like basically Martin McDonagh has a trilogy of plays set around the different Irish islands, or 2 plays and what was supposed to be the third one, and he never wrote it. And he took this stage play that never got produced and made it into The Banshee of Inisherin, which is why it has that slow, very deliberate.
That makes sense.
Where is this going? Quality.
Yeah,
I do wonder
if
it. I really enjoyed it. I do a bit like way back when Tarantino did The Hateful Eight. I do wonder if it would be better on a stage because you have that live atmosphere to it. But pardon me, I loved The Banshee of Inisherin. I loved this pacing.
Yeah,
I loved how hypnotic and strange it was, you know?
Yeah, like it was well shot, it was well acted, you know, like I have nothing to say against it other than it just, you know, it was a movie.
Yes.
You know,
it was a movie, except that it was a play, but it is also a movie.
Yeah, that's, you know, I'm not saying it was a bad movie. It was a good movie, but I've seen it now and I don't need to see it again because I've seen it.
I don't know. Because I spent most of my first viewing of it nervous because I was terrified something bad was going to happen. And you know, bad things do happen, but like it's nothing too gory or anything like that. You know?
I disagree.
I personally really liked it because Martin McDonagh is a weird one for me. In Bruges is one of my favorite films, but like the next two, the one set in Hollywood and then the billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri, I just felt they were slightly too abstract for me. they had a sort of a weird, like, I know people love them, but they had a weird kind of static pace to them. And I kept kind of waiting for them to go, okay, what's the point? What's the payoff? And kind of not getting off those films. But again, it's, look, I'm never going to make a film as good as him.
I wouldn't say Banshees of Inisherin had a payoff. It was a movie that had a duration and then it ends, but nothing actually resolves.
No, but but the reason I liked Banshee more than those other two examples is they make a point of spelling out that living on the island is not good for anyone on the island. And the sister wanting to get off the island highlights that. So that staticness becomes a feature of the film's setting, which livened it up for me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, all right, if I lived here, I would probably end up doing what Brendan Gleeson does.
Yeah, and like it does give the whole kind of country living on an island in the middle of nowhere vibe as well, in that like there's nothing for anyone to do other than just go and sit in the pub all day.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you've bothered the woman who runs the one shop where everything goes through, you are done in the community. Because what are you going to do? You can't eat. Like, you know, it had that lovely parochial feel to it. You can't avoid people because there's one road and you all walk down the same road and you're going to bump into each other. Like, I felt the island getting smaller as the film went along. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and like there's one pub and everybody knows everybody, and so everybody knows everyone's business and all this. Yeah, like it was well done, and I like the fact as well that a lot of non-Irish people didn't get that it was a period piece.
I did. I will.
You know what though?
Sorry, I was wondering about that myself for the first 20 minutes or so. What are you going to say there?
I was going to jump in there because I didn't. You know, I think Katie hit all the points and so did you, Kane. I was the same for the first couple of minutes. Obviously, I knew it was a period piece, but I'm like, when is this set?
And then, I mean, they made a reference to the Civil War. But to be honest, that's not just a Banshee of Inisherin thing. Every time something is set in Ireland, I'm like, okay, are we in the 1700s or the 1970s?
You don't know.
In America, could be either. Who knows?
No, that's true. That's true. I mean, that was, you know, I'm glad I wasn't the only one that had that moment where I'm like, when is this set? Like, I mean, right, it's either the, you know, but it was surprising when he said the Civil War, because I mean, it added that extra layer to it, which you don't really see that much.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there, because it's like all the most dramatic things in Irish history are happening about 15 miles of water away. And all of you are walking around the same road, going to the same pub over and over again, like you're in a time bubble.
Yeah.
You know, I almost would have liked the film more if Wi-Fi suddenly turned up and you just found out that these people are just in purgatory doing the same thing over and over again.
And it's like post-apocalyptic or something.
Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of weird, but I mean, it added to that oppressive nature of it, like where it was like, yeah, as you said, it was small town Ireland, but magnified because it was literally a small island, you know, smaller island than Ireland itself. But no, I mean, if you haven't,
very small,
like if you haven't seen it, I would say absolutely go see it. I went to go see it instead of going to see Black Panther 2 because I was like, I'm not watching.
You know, I really like Black Panther 2, but good call.
Yeah, I mean, fair.
Which, by the way, just to date this to our time, that film went up on Disney Plus today, which is at the time of recording, which is also where the Banshee of Inisherin. So you can reenact Dara's experience on Disney Plus,
which was surprising actually. I mean, I didn't like it. Obviously, wasn't an Irish film. Again, continuing the grand tradition of the best things made about Ireland aren't made in Ireland or made by Irish.
It was made by an Irish playwright, though.
It was, but it wasn't produced. Like, I mean, you know.
I see what you mean. Yeah, the normal people thing.
Yeah, exactly. And also the Father Ted thing and everything. And
Dairy Girls, you name it.
Yeah.
Please don't sue us, whoever's listening. But okay, so I also wanted now. I know that you had a film you were looking up, but I want to zip through some highlights, some of which we've already reviewed. So I won't
skip over the ones that we've already done.
You're gonna have to stop me if I haven't. My favorite film of the year was Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh yeah, very good.
Up on Amazon Prime. I'm 99% sure that Kev covered it already. And
It has been covered, yeah.
Yes,
It has
there you
been,
are.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
Batman, I think we must have reviewed 3 times.
Great movie.
I'm not
Yeah,
going to
very
say
good movie.
anything
Good
more
movie.
about that.
Good movie, yeah.
The Northman, which I caught on TV, was really good.
I haven't seen it yet.
The new, have you seen it, have you?
I haven't seen it yet, no.
It's well, for anyone listening, it's the new film from the maker of The Lighthouse, the strange film with Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe.
And The Witch.
It's very, very strange. Not quite as good as that film, but a good, like, Hollywood style thing from that director. We are not talking about Morbin time, I guess.
No, we can't.
We discussed Black Adam was surprisingly good.
Here's the thing. So we had a bit of a crash run in with our friends over in Geek Ireland about this, yeah. And I was like, Black Adam and Black Panther.
Oh, they gave it a 1 star. I mean, yeah, I get where they're coming from.
No,
completely.
but it's the same movie as Black Panther 2, just done better. And they disagree, and they give Black Panther 2 a 7 out of 10, I think. And they give that 1 out of 10. I'm like, it's the same movie, but you have The Rock. And I'm like, The Rock is The Rock. He's the people's champion. So I fundamentally...
He's the people's elbow.
Exactly. I fundamentally disagree, but, you know, whatever. I would still say Black Adam, I really like it. I think it's great. You have Superman.
It's black. It's hard to tell because I can never tell with DC whether they're good or they're good by accident.
I think it's good by accident.
But
I think
Black
it's genuinely
Adam was
good by accident.
where it's like, oh look, they're doing Deadpool again. Oh look, they're doing Giant Man again. Oh look, they're doing Doctor Strange again. And then they started like twisting my expectations.
Yeah.
And I can't go, if is this a dumb movie that's gotten some really lucky, or is this like a really clever, inventive film? I don't mind. I'm having fun, but I'm not sure which one it is.
No, I think it's good by accident.
Right, yeah. That was my inkling, yeah.
Like, genuinely, I think they went out to make like a serious movie, and then they were like, let's try all these bits together, and it just works, you know? I mean, there's a great video actually by M. Lemon that we've actually covered.
Yes, yeah.
And he did a video all about the Matrix, the last Matrix movie.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And you know what, I've my controversial take is that I love the new Matrix movie.
I've watched it on TV. I think it's quite good.
The reason why I love it is because it's a parody of a remake, right?
Yes, and it's not subtle about it at all.
No, it's purposely out to like mock the idea of a movie. Now, what he says again, he starts off with lamenting about Star Wars, which I mean will always get me. So after 15 minutes in that, he's like, so the Matrix basically is with the Tom Green movie, which I don't think we can say the name of because it is quite graphic. It's Freddy got but Tom Green's in it, and basically that movie.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, basically the reason why that movie was made is because they forced him to make a movie, and he's like, right, I'm gonna make the worst movie ever, and he did.
Oh, I see what you mean. I thought you said because okay, I'm with you now. Okay,
the comedian, the Canadian comedian,
yeah.
And he draws the comparison that's like Lana Wachowski literally did that, but with $190 million rather than $19 million.
Well, that's been reported, hasn't it? That like they said that if you don't make this, we're gonna have to over someone else.
It's a line in the movie.
Yes, exactly.
It's in the movie.
I cannot believe they got away with slagging off Warner Brothers in their Warner Brothers film. But anyway, I won't dwell on that. But we agree on the Matrix. Yeah, that's really good.
But basically, where I was going with that is, it's like, you know, it's. I think a lot when the movie comes out, the initial hype kind of dulls a lot of these kind of things. I think now sitting back where we're like, oh yeah, that was actually a pretty good movie, is a much better way to do it, and it just kind of lends credence that, like, you know, if something when you see a review of something, maybe go and watch the movie or, you know, give it its own take before freaking out. But then again, I mean, it's always Morbin time, so if you're when in doubt,
my drink.
Just watch Morbius. But there is one movie that I did actually want to bring up while we were here. So there was a new Hellraiser. I haven't seen it. I do want to because it has a female Pinhead, which is pretty interesting.
Okay.
Bullet Train is quite good though, and
that's on my list of things I haven't seen. I have a list of things I haven't seen and Men was on it as well.
So
Uncharted.
So here's it. Well, okay, don't watch Uncharted, but do watch The Lost City. Because The Lost City is Uncharted, but better.
Okay.
And it's actually a sister movie to Bullet Train because the exact same cast are in it and they do cameos in between the movies.
That is bizarre.
It's so bizarre. And when you're sitting in the cinema going, what just happened? You're like, oh, that makes sense. Because like in The Lost City, Brad Pitt like has a massive cameo, and in Bullet Train, Channing Tatum has a massive cameo, and
Right.
just the same cast kind of come and go between those movies.
So they were just like making them on the same lots or
I
something?
think so. I think they had to.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that, but it would not shock me if that's
It
the
makes
case.
sense, and especially because everything is like quite green screen nowadays.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. But
Yeah.
but they're both really fun. I mean, The Lost City has Sandra Bullock in it, and it's just wonderful. Bullet Train is surprisingly good. It's a good time. I mean, Brad Pitt is also kind of like the Tom Cruise for me. I'll kind of watch anything Brad Pitt's in now. Also, Babylon. I know that's out recently, but I'm still gonna say go see Babylon. Babylon's brilliant. It's a very good movie. I'm still gonna class that as a 2022 movie. Uncharted is fun, but kind of not really. I would say so. Here's a surprise one for you: Minions. The Rise.
That was my next one. Minions 2.
Refuse.
It's on in our house all the
So
time.
good.
Refuse.
No, Katie, listen.
No,
You know me.
I refuse.
No, the Minions: The Rise of Gru is. I don't know why it's good.
Okay.
It just
Let me
is.
take you on a journey as someone who's seen this about 3 dozen times. Okay. It's the Minions, but you've got Gru as a tiny kid who's much funnier. You've got a 1970s soundtrack, and you've got loads of corny supervillains, and it's just a gorgeous like animation style to it. And like they've mixed in some like kind of weird like Zodiac Chinatown stuff. Michelle Yeoh is in it, teaching the Minions how to do kung fu and stuff. It's just like, I'm not like huge on the Minions and Despicable Me, but like just this one just kept getting better and better. And it's I find some of those Illumination films a little bit cynical, but this one's really sweet. I go
fair.
back to it quite a lot.
That's fair. Actually, I mean, you hit all the main points. Like the first Despicable Me is wonderful. I mean,
Yeah, first one is good.
but see, here's the thing: it was never the Minions. Like I think the Minions were the worst part of
Yeah,
Despicable Me. But for some reason, with this one, I think it's because it's not cynical. I mean, maybe that's the. Sorry,
it's like the first Minions film is just kind of a series of comedy vignettes.
Yeah.
But having it be a proper prequel to Despicable Me with characters we like kind of made it a lot better, you know?
I think maybe that's what, the secret here. All the movies we like are actually made to be a good movie rather than to push
They
something
make you
else.
care and have feelings, damn it.
Amsterdam is quite good as well, by the way.
Okay, yeah, I've heard good things about that.
Taylor Swift dies in like 5 minutes, which is very upsetting as a huge
spoiler
Taylor Swift fan.
alert.
No, it's not a spoiler alert. It happens in the first 5 minutes.
Right.
It's
Like-
very upsetting. But
You
know.
guys haven't mentioned one of probably the most anticipated movies of last year.
Go on.
What?
Prey.
That's on my list. Yeah.
The
what do you think
Predator
of Prey?
movie.
The Predator movie.
Yeah.
That was highly anticipated.
What did you think of it?
I thought it was it wasn't perfect, but I thought it was pretty great. It's definitely something I would like to see explored more. Predators in like set in different timelines and see how they get on.
Yeah, no, I unfortunately haven't had a chance to see it yet because I was busy watching Chip and Dale like an idiot. Which it's fine. It's just very forgettable, for something that's supposed to be very clever and inventive,
Yeah.
But
I haven't seen Prey yet, Katie, but I am going to watch it tomorrow. I
have to say, I absolutely loved the design of the feral predator because don't forget, this is Predator with obviously they're aliens, they have some technology, but this is hundreds of years before they have all the really, really, really high tech stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just just watch it.
But I will.
watch it.
I agree. I think, doing a series like that where, they're just dropped into a time, any time, like samurai, Nazis, commies.
Yeah, I will say
Revolution.
it does have like the kind of overarching story is a little bit kind of cliche where it's like the girl in the tribe who's training to be medicine woman, but she wants
Girls
to be a
can't
warrior.
fight. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, girls can't fight, blah, blah, that kind of thing. You know, she wants to be a warrior.
Stay
They
in
want her
whatever
to be...
the jungle equivalent of the kitchen is.
But I mean, here's the
So-
thing though. Well, here's the thing though. The first Predator movie wasn't high art either.
Mm.
You know, it's a bunch of
commandos in the woods.
commandos. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a different movie for the first 20 minutes, and then it becomes Predator.
But that's what's brilliant about it. It's because it does all of the 80s tropes and gives you like the Avengers level equivalent of 80s stars, and they are all incredibly helpless compared to Monster.
But I mean, I think that's a cool thing to play around with, and you know, I would. That's a Disney Plus series. Maybe don't do it as a movie because that can, you know, an hour would be enough.
You're right. Disney Plus is actually a really good way to like, because they keep trying to reboot Predator in the cinema and it's not working.
Yeah,
it could have a good home here, you know.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
Prey-
it's a Star Wars thing.
Prey was quite good. Like, there are some really cool cinematic shots. There's some really good action and fight sequences. Some cool technology for the Predators. Like, they did well.
Yeah, I mean, but if you think about it, like, you know, I would say avoid the cliches earlier on. I mean, obviously, if they were going to do it, they would probably end up in, you know, World War II at some point. But I think it would be very cool, you know, to have one in the you know, in the, well, anywhere really, even
Japan, ancient Egypt,
ancient
I would
Rome,
see a feudal
ancient
Japan
Greece.
Predator in a heartbeat.
Like, the thing about it is, you can kind of do what people said about you know, the Assassin's Creed series years ago, where they're like, oh, I'd love to see one in China, I'd love to see one in in France, I'd love to see one and when they're done, they're actually pretty cool. And
oh
I mean,
my god, French Revolution Predator.
exactly.
There you
I
go.
think it would be very, very cool.
Yeah. But yeah, like French Revolution Predator would be unreal.
Oh, absolutely. You know, the only thing about it is, speaking of like legacy movies in general that kind of flopped, there's two that comes to mind: Jurassic World Dominion,
right,
and Clerks 3.
I thought you were going to say Rings of Power.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Why not? I haven't seen it. What's the fuss?
Well, okay, real quick with Rings of Power. In the first 11 minutes, they destroy the entire plot of Lord of the Rings. No, it's absolutely it's not an exaggeration. I mean, they've come out and basically apologized for it. Without going into it too much, because there are like essays about it.
Yeah.
But basically, they twist Tolkien to such an extent where it's like, you can't actually do that because everything in Tolkien's world makes sense. You can't just like take bits that you don't like and twist it. But in the first 11 minutes, they retell basically the big magic tree that gives life to Middle Earth.
Right.
But they don't understand what it means. So they add in random bits that undo the entire theology.
Right. I'm going to add in some extra, I'm sure you know this from your essays, some extra context here, which is from Tolkien fans who I trust and understand like the contracts and all that. They are only allowed to use things in Lord of the Rings for this show. They're not allowed to use the Silmarillion or the Hobbit.
But see,
the problem is they're setting it in a time at the Lord. So like,
that's the problem.
Let's say you have this big cast of characters. You're only allowed to use characters from Lord of the Rings that happen to be there in this time period, which is why they're having to bend over backwards to have, I don't know, Galadriel or whoever happen to turn up, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, like, here's the thing, right? And I'll say this and I'll say no more. I have no problem with them making Lord of the Rings spin-off material, right? The problem here is like Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War. They're actually quite fun. Now they're also like, they break Tolkien too. But I remember we were working, this when I was on GameStop or GameSmack. We were reviewing the game and we were sent out a press release saying, hey, look, this has nothing got to do with Lord of the Rings. It's completely different. Do not mention Lord of the Rings. Do not mention the other video games, the movies, the books. This is its own thing. So when you're playing those games, you're like, this is its own thing. The problem with the Rings of Power is that they specifically said, this is the follow-up to Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Like, it's
well,
not,
that's what you pay the $1 billion for.
Yeah, but it's not though. I mean, the thing about it is, they should have just made the Sam.
No, but from a business perspective, you don't spend $5 billion to commission a Star Wars Legends book. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but I mean, you know, this is what I'm saying though. it's the one series you actually can't do that with.
Mm.
You know, with Star Wars, yeah, okay, fair enough. You can change stuff and they have, and it can work sometimes, and you use garbage sometimes. But with Lord of the Rings and Tolkien specifically, I mean, everything there exists for a reason. The man planned it all out to such an
Yeah,
extent that
if a tree is in the background, has a name, it's got 5 pages of appendices about it. That's
yeah, like
Tolkien.
I don't know if you yeah, exactly. I don't know if you've read the Silmarillion, but that is a hard book to read because everything means something.
Well, I struggle with Lord of the Rings, so no,
Oh,
I'm not that
I
brave.
d-
I've read The Hobbit dozens of times.
I don't blame you. For the Fellowship of the Ring is one of the hardest books to read because it's forests for 400 for like what 40,
Yeah,
50
to
pages.
all the people who were saying, "Where's my Tom Bombadil in Fellowship?" Go
We don't
home.
want him.
We don't want them.
We don't want him.
No, it's can't imagine Brian Blessed in some other film is Tom Bombadil and move on.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why. No, I don't think. I know that's why it failed. You know, there's lots of people saying lots of other garbage, but it's like no, it's just it's fundamental misunderstanding of the source material. You know, what they should have done is they should have just had a generic swords and elves.
Yeah,
show.
And it didn't help that it was going out basically the same time as House of the Dragon.
Yeah, which is
another thing from 2022.
Yeah, which is so much better, and people should watch that instead.
Yeah, isn't it nice that people like Game of Thrones again? What a nice surprise.
Well, people always like Game of Thrones, just didn't like bad writing.
It was you didn't talk about Game of Thrones on the internet for a little while, and we are guilty of that too.
Well, I mean, as someone who was in Game of Thrones a lot, I mean, yeah, no one talked.
You were on the set of Game of Thrones. I just love it.
I'm in Game of Thrones. Like when you go to the costume thing in Belfast, I'm in the hype video that opens up the thing. So I mean, yeah. Look, Game of Thrones. It's funny because they rushed the last season to make a Star Wars movie that never happened.
The great tragedy, yeah.
And that is hilarious. It's like, good job, lads. You ruined probably the best TV series of all time.
No, I've got a Simpsons quote for this.
Go on.
It's like, Homer, you ruined a perfectly good franchise. No, Marge. Two perfectly good franchises.
I love it.
Absolutely.
But no, I mean, look, Star Wars, not Star Wars. Sorry. Jurassic World.
It's just where your head's at.
It's just where my head's at. It's always there. It's always there. Jurassic World Dominion is a movie that shouldn't exist.
See, you say it ruined it. I was never on board with Jurassic World 1.
No, Jurassic World 1 is very fun. I mean, it's stupid.
Only if you don't care about dinosaurs or Jurassic Park. Because if you do, it's a miserable experience. I actually had to cut 2 pages of... I did a show called School for Dinosaurs. And me and one of the actors came up with almost 2 pages of disses for Jurassic World, and then we had to go, it's a show for 8-year-olds. Let's leave this out.
But hold on. Okay. They've added a Starbucks in Jurassic World. I mean, come on, man.
It's not even dinosaur accessible.
It's not for dinosaurs, it's for people.
Like, I mean, you've got all those dinosaurs there, all those brontosauruses, brachiosauruses, I always get those 2 mixed up, who could be potentially having their Starbucks, just have a drive-through window.
They have no money. No. They have no money.
Fun fact, the brachiosaur was made up for Jurassic Park.
Was it?
There you go.
Not a real dinosaur.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't know. I like the angle of, like, this is Jurassic World 1 now, not 3. I like the meta angle of, like, how people are bored with dinosaurs, just like the way they're bored with cinematic spectacle. That kind of thing's cool. But it just felt like it was all surface and, like, kind of no meat to it. Like, it was just, maybe it was like Comic Book Girl 19 who made the point that, like, a nice kind of character we like has one of the most vicious deaths in cinema, where she's like picked up by pterodactyls, dragged around for ages, dropped in water, thinks she's got away, a giant megalodon thing eats her, and then the villain gets killed off screen, and it's like, there's just a really weird, bitter quality to Jurassic World, which from what I've seen of Jurassic World 2 also travels. And now I know that, like, Jurassic Park 1, 2, and 3 have their dark moments, but generally I go to those for the earnest quality, how wonderful is this, even when it's scary, you know. And I just they make me miserable, those Jurassic World films, you know?
Alan.
That's it, yeah. Because like the people there, they love dinosaurs and they love the majesty of it, and the experience in all three films brings them closer together. I don't like Chris Pratt in Jurassic World. I think he's obnoxious.
I don't like him in anything.
I'm gonna stop the rant there. I don't think you got the reference that me and Katie were saying.
Oh, please go again. Sorry.
Okay, so there's a bit in Jurassic Park 3 where
Alan. I know it.
Yeah,
Alan.
Okay.
Kev has the t-shirt.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Sorry, no, I just wanted to make sure that...
You think I didn't write a play about dinosaurs and didn't get that reference?
Oh, I just want to make sure, because it is one of the weirdest scenes ever in anything for no reason. No, but look, look, the Jurassic World thing, I'm kind of glad it's over, but however, it did give me one of the best games ever, which is Jurassic World Evolutions 1 and 2.
Okay.
It's a sim theme park game where you make your own
you have
dinosaurs.
talked about this before, yes.
I have. It's the reason why I bought a PS5. It wasn't for Cyberpunk. It was literally to play this one game that was killing my PS4. So, no, literally, you'd put it in and it wasn't able to run it. Like, what happens with games sometimes is like at the very end of the life cycle, they just cannot play properly. And this was just one of them. So, I'll give that a pass. The other one was Clerks 3. Now, I love Clerks 1 and 2. Kevin Smith has kind of Kevin Smithed his career, but he has made some great movies. But Clerks 3 was a movie that I really, 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 really wanted to like.
I've heard it's a bit miserable,
and it's very dismal.
Yeah,
and I mean, it's supposed obviously it's a tale about it was on heart attack. That kind of hits home to me because of last year and my family situation. So I mean, it did kind of hit home there. But I was also like, man, this is just dour.
Yeah.
And there's two really, spoilers, but not really. There's two deaths in it that are like, whoa. And it's just not a movie you were expecting, And then it's also, they just remake Clerks, the first one. So, I want to go see it. I want to go see it in the Lighthouse. And I was very disappointed by it. So, that's two big franchise movies that didn't deliver.
Well, thank you very much, because I haven't seen Clerks 3 yet, but I haven't seen Clerks 2 either, but I will give them all a watch.
I haven't seen Clerks.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
We obviously we need to organize a film night.
Clerks 1 is great. Clerks 2 is hilarious, and also it's a big talking point in That 90s Show, which I binged last week.
Any good?
Yeah, I liked it.
Okay, we'll do a full review of that next week.
We will, yeah.
Just because, I feel like I can't tell at this point if Marvel is holding up or destroying cinema, but I do want to quickly name check all of the Marvel things that came out this year. We covered Doctor Strange 2 somewhat already.
And Black Panther 2.
There was Black Panther 2, which I reviewed with great difficulty from Dara. There's Thor 4, which I think we covered in detail. Everyone seemed to like that when it came out. Now they've changed their minds.
I liked Thor 4 was so... It was just, oh no.
See,
I like Thor 4 a great deal. I want to go see it 5 times.
Thor 4, I've seen it twice, and it doesn't know what it wants to be.
It doesn't know what it wants to be. No.
Does it want to be a horror movie? Does it want to be like a buddy comedy, or what is going on with that? And Christian Bale is in a completely different movie from everyone else.
No, but he made the film for me.
No, he did. That's what I'm saying.
And whatever Russell Crowe thinks is a Greek voice.
He was so good. Christian Bale was so good in that movie, but it was like he was acting in a different movie than everyone else.
Russell Crowe is lying. He's like, "Relax, baby cakes." Absolutely kills me every time.
Imagine the two of those characters who do exist in the same film having a scene. I can't. Christian Bale's character.
No, it doesn't fit. It's like two different movies.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I don't mind that because I'm just kind of on board for Marvel's. All right, you're doing lots of things at once, fine. But I do get what you mean, because even if you take that element out of it, you kind of have zany antics on goat flying ships in
Screaming
the same
goats with rainbows.
To be fair, that
in
is
the same film where a character is suffering with cancer.
To be fair, that's in Norse mythology.
It is. I was amazed to find out that actually, because I read Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology for the first time.
Oh, it's very good.
And there was a story where Thor arrived and with his goats, and there was nothing to eat. So he killed the goats and ate them, and then afterwards he just magicked them back. And there is a joke in the start of the movie where like he goes, "Oh, Guardians, can we not just kill the goats and eat them?" And they go, "Ah!" You know. So in my head canon is that the reason they're screaming is because Thor has done that several times, and now they're traumatized and scream all the time.
That's fair. Actually, it's funny. On my desk, I have Gore, Thor, and Lady Thor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and Lego.
Yeah, I've got them too. Nice.
Yeah. I mean, I look, all the points that you've made are correct. However, after the crime that was Thor Ragnarok, it was nice to see.
You are like the one person who doesn't seem to like that.
I hate Thor Ragnarok with a passion.
Oh, we do not have time to get into that because we've 1 minute. We didn't have time. So maybe next week we'll do like what little bits of TV and things came out last year, because we haven't covered like Wednesday or any of the like Marvel things or any of that kind of stuff.
So much to do.
But I'll tell you what, we've got a minute left. I'll go to Katie first. Katie, is there anything you want to say before we wrap?
Yeah, just that I am still plugging away at Twitch, building a small community, which is really nice at this point. So if anyone would like to follow on with that, it's twitch.tv/mannequin blue. And we do like crafting, balloons, video games, just general talking nonsense. You know, come and say hi.
Okay, how about you, Dara?
Yeah, I took the plunge and I started HelloFresh. So they deliver meals to your door that you make. And I mean, I haven't eaten any of them yet, but I'm about to. So
they're staring at me from across the room.
Well, no, what's cool is it's like and this isn't an ad, we're not sponsored by them, but absolutely we will take the money if they want to.
And the food.
I mean, like basically the website that we have, I got like a discount where I was like, all right, cool. So I used that. And they send you like a box of all the stuff that you need to make a meal, and then you just make the meal. So it's like, you want to make, you want to make spaghetti. Here's everything you need, including the meat, and you're like, oh, that's really handy. So because I want to learn to cook, so I figured this would be a good way to kind of incentivize me to learn to cook if I order all the meals that like arrive and I make them myself. So.
Okay, that's quite an endorsement. And if they fancy sponsoring us, you know, we're here. We'll leave your email. I also, because Kev isn't able to be here, I want to give a shout out to what I suspect is his favorite film of the year, which is the Bollywood action film Or. Because if we don't mention it, I'll never hear the end of it. Apologies also to the films we didn't get to cover, like Moonfall, Don't Worry, Darling, Nope, all those kind of things.
Oh, I love Moonfall.
You've seen it?
I have as well.
Why are you only mentioning this now?
It was terrible.
It's the worst thing ever, but I also love it so much.
It's so bad.
It's so bad.
Why are we talking about Thor 4 for 5 minutes and you both had this in your back pocket?
I've seen
it's so bad, Keane. It's so bad.
Look, Dara, do you want to go over?
Just assume, we go over. Go
on. I haven't seen Moonfall. Okay, Katie, you popped in first, so take me on a journey.
Hold on 1 second. Just assume I've seen the movies because I'm really trying to get value out of that Cineworld Black Card. Katie, go for it.
Okay, so have you seen the trailer for Moonfall?
Yes, and I've seen a few fairly kind of unimpressed reviews and stuff. So I'm not coming to this uncritical. But
like the trailer for Moonfall makes it look absolutely epic.
Right.
Like, makes it look incredible.
Yeah.
It's not.
No.
It's so bad and it's so cringe.
It's not. No, it is, yeah. I was going to say it's not that cringy, but
no, it is.
It is, yeah.
It is,
well,
yeah.
Give me some cringy highlights.
Okay, so basically it's a 90s action movie that has been transported wholesale.
I mean, look, it's Roland Emmerich. You didn't need to tell me that.
No, but I mean, like, there's zero awareness. They literally just took a movie from the 90s and dropped it in. So it starts off and they're like they're up in space fixing the ship. And then they have an argument about the lyrics to
I've seen that bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the best part of the movie. And then there's like a conspiracy theorist who's like, the moon is hollow. And it turns out that he's not a doctor at all. He's just a head case.
Yeah, because it's really weird. I find it not. I'll go on a quick side. I always find it interesting that Roland Emmerich makes conspiracy theory films, and then his conspiracy theory guy is always like a crazy nutcase who like has silver stuff on his head and lives in a shed.
No, I mean that's not even it. Like, I mean, they cast your man from Game of Thrones,
the Game of Thrones guy. I was about to say, yeah,
as like the biggest loser ever. And you're like,
but
wait,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
he's
you
the
know,
hero. Like, they're just like, and then he dies, and you're like, oh man,
spoiler.
Why did you kill Sam? You know, and it's like,
but like it's got Halle Berry and Patrick
and
Wilson.
she's completely wasted. They're both completely wasted.
Like, how is this not a good movie?
Yeah,
Donald Sutherland as well.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, he plays the shady conspiracy guy.
Like, how is this a bad movie? How?
Isn't the funny guy from Ant-Man in it as well? Did I dream that?
Yeah, he's in it as well. Michael Pena.
Michael Pena, yeah.
So in order for them to get to the moon, which is coming closer to Earth, they steal the spaceship from a museum, which somehow still works.
Right. See, if this was like a 60s like throwback, or if it was like maybe like The Rocketeer or something, and they leaned into the cheesiness.
They do.
Sounds like it could be good.
They do.
It doesn't sound like it.
No, they do, but Roland Emmerich directed it.
Right.
So it's all like everyone else is leaning into it except for Roland Emmerich.
Right.
And that's kind of the problem.
Okay.
So it has this scale and grandeur. And it's just like, what is like, this is nonsense. And everybody knows it's nonsense except for Roland Emmerich.
Right.
So I mean, like, look, I'm not sad I saw it. I'll never probably watch it again. But then again, the only Roland Emmerich movie that I do watch is Independence Day and 2012. Yeah, 2012 was good. I like that.
I thought, you go back to Godzilla, no?
Oh no, Godzilla's terrible.
Here's a fun game. Find a Godzilla fan and mention the Roland Emmerich version, and just like your Star Wars rants pale in comparison to how much those fans hate Zilla, which is what they've named it.
I love Zilla.
There's even in one of the Godzilla like films, they make a point of having Zilla turn up so the real Godzilla can kill him. Like,
Godzilla versus Zilla.
Yeah. Zilla, Godzilla throws Zilla through the Sydney Opera House and then hit him with nuclear breath. Yeah, it's wonderful.
But that's a conversation for another day. Since we've gone over anyway, did any of you manage to see Don't Worry, Darling?
No, I wanted to, but
we'll cover that another day.
Well,
I'm actually glad we didn't see it because I don't like it when a film comes out and everyone hates it and kind of becomes the internet's punching bag. I don't like that whole thing, but I am curious to see it.
People didn't hate the movie. What happened was Spitgate happened, and that overtook the movie.
I've seen that footage like 5 times, and I've no idea what happened and what everyone's upset about. It's like that internet dress thing from a few years ago where everyone was saying it was the wrong color or something. I've seen that clip and I was like, what? Someone sat down. What?
No, so basically what happened was there was a rake of there was just like a rake of controversy around it then, and there were like people allegedly cheating and not cheating and all this kind of stuff. And then what happened was everyone forgot. Like, I got so sucked
in
into
the
that.
Fiction or in the real
world?
No,
in the real world.
Okay.
And then I got so obsessed with that I forgot to see the movie.
Really?
Because
I'll go see anything that has Florence Pugh in it. She's awesome.
Yeah, she is. I mean, she's just, her range is actually ridiculous.
And not just that, actually, it's one of the teenagers, because I work for this organization called Canteen, and they were like filming a movie near her house, and like Florence Pugh came over and talked to all the teenagers and stuff and spent loads of time with them, and apparently she's sound like as a person, which I know shouldn't make a difference to like an actor's like repertoire, but
no,
it does
a bit
to me.
It does, yeah.
No, it really does. It's like the way Sean Bean. Here's the thing. So Sean Bean, I've met him, nicest guy in the world, like legitimately. He went, like, when we were shooting the shooting the Frankenstein Chronicles, which is on Amazon Prime. Anyone wants to see it? I'm in the first episode. Sean Bean got hung for, like, they killed him off. But he was hanging. Do you guys know how to actually shoot a hanging? Like how they shoot a hanging in the movies?
No.
Yeah, they put you in a harness.
No, they actually just hang you.
What?
Yeah, they actually just hang you.
I'm not sure what kind of film sets you've been on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
They put you in a shoulder harness.
they do, but they still have to hang you a little bit, right?
Mm.
So, like, it's actually very hard to shoot it. So poor Sean Bean was hanging there for like 45 minutes, and then he came over and introduced himself to everybody on set. So he's lovely. However, when I was in Rome, I heard a story. So this is all allegedly that he's barred from one of my favorite bars in Rome because he tried to attack the barman. So that's allegedly. We don't know, secondhand, but also from a reliable source. So I mean,
probably from one of the other. It was probably one of the other Starks, and they just thought it was Sean Bean.
I heard a story that I think it was Sean Bean, that he was in a bar and he got in a fight with someone. I don't think he started it, but he got in a fight, went outside, beat the guy up, got stabbed, went back in and finished his pint.
Okay, see, now we don't need to even put allegedly on it. We're just entering the realm of fantasy folklore.
But here's what's funny though, right? If that is what happened, I mean, the artist Cavaggio. Do you guys know Cavaggio?
How is this anything to do with Don't Worry, Darling?
Hold on, you'll see where I'm going.
Okay.
So there's a very famous artist called Cavaggio, right? And he's famous for black backgrounds and very vivid. He's a great artist.
Well, he created like depth, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but he's also like his actual name is Michelangelo, but there was a more famous one who we all know, right? But basically, he really liked drinking, he really liked fighting, and he killed a bunch of people. So what happened was every time he'd kill someone in a bar fight, he'd like do a painting for the Pope and be like, "Can I come back?" No, literally, right? So he killed a bunch of people in bar fights because he just really liked fighting. And I mean, then he died at like 36 in Malta. So I mean,
I can see why.
Yeah, but I mean, there's lots of Cavaggios, and that's the reason why. Because he's like, listen, about that murder, can we? Yeah, and he's grand. He's like, oh, come on back, you scamp.
You rascal.
Yes. Christopher Marlowe allegedly had a similar arrangement. Yeah.
So all I'm saying is probably some of the best artists have, they have their issues.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
Okay, but what does this have to do with Spitgate? Because I'm still waiting for an explanation on that.
So
what is Spitgate?
So okay, right. Some of the issues that were going around with that, there was like the infidelity thing that was going on. So that's the whole thing. But Spitgate was apparently Harry Styles spit into. No, not apparently. There is video footage of it. So there's Harry Styles spitting into Chris Pine. Yeah, Chris Pine's mouth, and then he like looks up confused, and that's what it was.
I've watched that clip. I don't see it.
It's massive. It's a massive spit. Like
what kind of HDI like phone HD whatever do you have? Because I did not
watch
see
it on
anything.
a screen, like a big screen. You can see
I have
it.
to watch this on a big screen.
I mean, if you can't see it in the small, I mean, like Chris Pine looks up and he's like, "What was that for?" And I mean, it was good aim. Now, to be, I don't think he did it on purpose, genuinely, but it's very weird. I mean, that whole movie just got like, look, I've read up what the plot of it is, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's fair enough. It's kind of like a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah,
but
this isn't a review. Disclaimer.
No, it isn't a review.
None of us have seen it. Do not see the film because of what we're saying. Like,
but I mean, I got so distracted by everything around the film that I just forgot to watch the movie. I was like, I'm so intrigued by this real life thing that I just don't want to see the movie now. But yeah. So I mean, maybe don't spit in people's mouth. I mean, some people are probably into that, but I mean,
that's the lesson.
Yeah, I mean,
if there's one thing to take away from 2022.
Oh, there you go. Only spit with consent. I think that was the problem. That's the takeaway here. Kids, that's the takeaway.
Oh, and go see Everything Everywhere if you haven't already. I know we only covered that briefly.
Oh, that movie.
That's worth bringing up
twice.
Oh,
it's so wonderful. I mean,
we've done a full review. I know.
No,
we won't repeat ourselves, but like.
No, but I mean, when I went to go see that movie, I don't know what I was expecting, but it's just the best movie.
Yeah.
Just the best movie.
In a year with Top Gun Maverick, it managed to stand out. In
a year with Morbius.
Well, like, see, at the start of this episode, you said that it was a bad year for films. I've actually kind of come around talking about all these,
Yeah, I mean, that's why these are good to do. I mean, usually we kind of get distracted and we go off on mad tangents about Star Wars.
Oh, we still did. Don't congratulate yourself too yet.
But we came back around. We got there.
Okay.
We got there. This is a small victory for us. We stayed on target.
More or less. We have been here an hour and a half.
Oh God. Okay. Let's wrap this up then, because I want to have dinner tonight or today.
Yeah, same.
All right. Well, so we kind of did our everyone wrap up thing already, so I'll just wrap it up then, saying thank you, whether you listened on the radio and only got kind of bits and pieces of what we were talking about, because I don't know what way Dara's going to edit it,
Great difficulty.
or whether you heard us on Spotify. Thank you for bearing with us. We had a lot of fun doing this. We hoped you had a lot of fun listening to it. If there were any films we missed or should check out, please reach out to us. Next week, we're going to have a look at some of the TV highlights on Netflix and normal terrestrial channels, if they still exist, and all that kind of stuff. But until then, I've been Cian.
I've been Dara.
And Manic and Blue.
And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
She says I'm not romantic. I say she's too dramatic.
Thank you for listening to a Nerd to Know Media production.